Today you'll be watching a video about coding and its history, which is pretty boring, but I'll try to make it as entertaining as I can with the random gameplay in the background and the random imagery that will be popping up whenever I decide to add that in. But just bear with me on this. I know it could be quite long. It's going to be top 5 minutes, so just hang in there. So as you know, or at least I hope you do, coding is relatively new technology, only being around 70 to 80 years old, which is naturally is going to make this video quite short, but as long as it's informative and Mr. Rhoda doesn't fall asleep, I'll count it as a win. So for our topics, we'll be covering the beginning of code, the first computers, the growth of coding and its modernization, and how it got to be such a big thing in today's time. Touching briefly on them to keep you guys interested and not like having you guys like fall asleep, because I'll be honest, it's not the greatest topic ever, but I also won't be listing every single coding program ever, just important ones that lead to large developments in computer history. So all this begins ages ago when some dude in Germany during the mid-1940s named Konrad Zuse created the first high-level programming language. Konrad, being a pioneer for computer engineering on top of being a rich-ass businessman, decided to create a new system. The first programmed was called Plankalkül, which stands for Plan Calculus. This program was possible of creating procedures, aka routines, along with storing chunks of data that could be used to perform operations of math, along with many other mathematical functions and such. It was primarily used to calculate for engineering purposes, which was pretty interesting for its time, and it was helpful for scientists and engineers during World War II. Next, moving into the future of computing languages, Fortran is the new kid on the block. But what exactly is Fortran? Fortran is a high-level programming language that is primarily used for numerical computations, aka math equations, and scientific computing. Not long after Plankalkül's creation, Fortran was developed in 1957 and was completed in 1958 by IBM's lead developer, John Backus. Over time, it evolved and created something that could be used for modern programming, such as structured programming, arrayed programming, modular programming, and generic programming. Even today, Fortran is still a popular programming language that is used around the globe. So how did these programs that could do just basic calculations go to the languages we know today in our modernized world? And how did these big clunky computers become available for everyone to use in their everyday life? Well, around 20 years after Fortran's popularization, a new program was introduced called C. C was crafted in an AT&T lab by Dennis Ritchie and Ken Thompson, both very smart computer scientists and engineers working for AT&T and our lead developers. These two created one of the subsets for the later developed C++, which is another programming language that is very popular. C is a very powerful programming tool as it allows programmers to code browser engines, develop games and animation, develop operating systems, and build databases that store and manipulate data. C is still widely used around the world and remains one of the pillars of computer science history and usage. A little less than a decade later, a new modern abstracted high-level programming language came around, and its name is Python, which you've most definitely heard of if you're taking this class. And it can do all sorts of things, such as web development, AI machine learning, game development, and more. Created by the infamous Dutch programmer Guido van Rossum, he wanted to have a program that was less complicated and could be more efficient than its competitors, along with being easy to use and get more things done in a faster time. And finally we get to Java, which is probably the most innovative and modern programming language in the world. Java can do pretty much anything. Seriously, it can create games, web applications, mobile apps, cloud applications, marketing tools, chatbots, and more, all while being probably the most versatile language. Its creation sparked many new innovations of the modern age, like Google, Amazon, Minecraft, if you're into games, Androids, Twitter, Spotify, Opera GX, AI machine learning, and pretty much every single application in the world. So that's a little summary of coding and its evolution through time. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay and the crappy synopsis of computer programming languages all the way from the mid-40s to the mid-90s. Thanks for watching or listening, whichever is fine, as long as I get the credit. Thank you.